Excellent customer service is very important.
Customers want to feel that you respect them, that you are there for them.
Just making sure the customer is satisfied.
I like the fact that I can communicate personally, not just over the phone.
At the end of the day, they know that they have that one person they can actually call on.
You want to treat that person how you would want to be treated.
We work 7 days a week, 365 days of the year. I try to make every experience a wow experience for the customer.
The PLP chairman says Deputy Prime Minister Philip Davis will not run for PLP leader against the Prime Minister. Long Island MP Loretta Butler Turner says the Prime Minister is drunk on power. The Foreign Affairs Minister says the Christie administration is doing the best it can. Plus, the Parliamentary Commissioner expecting thousands of new registered voters. We've got those stories and more coming up tonight. I'm Dana Smith, and NB12 starts right now. News tonight, Deputy Prime Minister Philip Brave Davis will not run for leader against Prime Minister Perry Christie at the Progressive Liberal Party's convention in November, according to party chairman Bradley Roberts. While some party insiders close to Davis have said the PLP deputy leader intended to challenge Christie, Roberts says he knows for a fact that's not going to happen. Vonnie Toot reports.
Though Deputy Prime Minister Philip Brave Davis has declined to say whether he will challenge Prime Minister Perry Christie for the leadership post during the party's November convention, PLP Chairman Bradley Roberts says he can say with certainty that Davis will not. He insisted the two have a long-standing relationship not very different from a husband and wife.
As far as I know, Mr. Davis will not be challenging the Prime Minister. He will not be challenging the Prime Minister. You asked me a question. I answered you, and now you ask me how I know that.
So you're saying that with certainty?
Yes, ma'am. I am saying that with certainty.
Though sources close to Davis have said he intends to run, the PLP deputy leader has refused to say what his current position is on the matter. Roberts said he advised Davis not to go up against the party leader. He suggested today Davis and Christie are too close to go head-to-head at the PLP's upcoming convention.
Mr. Christie and Mr. Davis have been colleagues and for many, many years. There's a strong bond and relationship between the two of them. They have made considerable progress together as a team. They work well together. It's like a husband and wife situation. Yes. In other words, it's a sustained relationship.
Davis was encouraged to run for PLP leader by former PLP MP Philip Galanis, who said the PLP government is on a downward spiral and the party desperately needs new leadership. However, Roberts fired back at Galanis today, calling his comments juvenile and baseless.
These comments by Mr. Galanis are confusing at best, as it would be foolish for him to claim to support Deputy Prime Minister Davis while at the same time attacking the work of the very administration that the Deputy Prime Minister is a part of. Galanis is fully aware that Deputy Prime Minister Davis has been Deputy Leader since 2009 and Deputy Prime Minister since May 2012, and doubts seriously that he can get Deputy Prime Minister Davis to agree with his personal baseless attack on the party and its MPs. I asked Mr. Galanis to reveal his true motives for such attacks, as he is providing no aid to Deputy Prime Minister Davis, whom he claims to support with such juvenile comments.
Earlier this month, Galanis said it is no secret that many Bahamians are disappointed with government's performance on crime, the economy, and reports of corruption. In response to Roberts, the former PLP MP said the party is not a secret society and he has every right as a member of the PLP to comment on its performance. However, Roberts insisted that the PLP's many successes since coming to office in 2012 are there for a blind man to see, adding it is unwise for an organization to wash its linen in public.
When you have nothing but sense to say, it is best to be quiet. All elected offices within the party can be contested by any member in good standing at the party's convention, to be held, I repeat again, the first week in November at the Malia Hotel, Cable Beach. It is most unwise for any organization to attempt to wash its linen in public.
Galanis also asserted that some PLP MPs and cabinet ministers are lousy and miserable and should not be renominated before the next general election. Roberts said those MPs who have been castigated will respond to Galanis in due course. Reporting for NB12, I'm Vonique Toot.
Prime Minister's challenge to opposition leader Dr. Hubert Minnis to face off in a debate is absolute rubbish and just another ridiculous utterance, according to Long Island MP Loretta Butler Turner. Branding Christie delusional and drunk on power, Butler Turner said Christie needs to determine how to salvage the remainder of his term in governance rather than attempt to deflect attention from what she said is his incompetence and unfulfilled promises.
Well, remember, 10,000 new jobs within the first 100 days. Remember, they were going to eradicate crime. They were the only ones that had the answer to it. Safer Bahamas, and now they've used this propaganda of a stronger Bahamas. This Bahamas has gotten weaker. It has gotten more crime-ridden. The employment levels have driven up. So their policies clearly are not working. Mr. Christie is attempting to deflect from his incompetence, his ineptness, and the bad decisions that he's made as sitting in as Prime Minister of the Bahamas.
Butler Turner said it's clear Christie is fresh out of ideas. In fact, she says he's been out of ideas since 2012. The former F&M deputy said Christie came to office on a wave of wild promises and has been unable to live up to any of them. She said rather than challenging the leader of the opposition to a debate in a bid to draw attention away from his bad governance, Christie needs to determine how to salvage the last year of his administration. Butler Turner said if Christie really wants to debate, he can do that in Parliament.
I don't think this is a time for debate. I think this is a time for action. Mr. Christie is actually in government. He doesn't need to prove anything in a debate. What he needs to prove is that he has the capacity to govern for the next year and a half to 2 years that they're going to be here. I think it's just a deflection of frivolous points, which clearly demonstrates that this man has no idea what the country is going through to be suggesting that he should be debating the leader of opposition. We debate every week we go to Parliament. Tell Mr. Christie, go and debate in Parliament. That is his stage for debating.
Butler Turner said the country needs a radical change, something that won't be offered by Christie and what she said are his fellow PLP dinosaurs.
At 70 plus years of age, he was unable to change when he was 60 plus. I think that he's more stubborn, more set in his ways, and doubly difficult to turn around and take the country in a different direction. What this country needs now is a radical change. Christie doesn't represent that. Neither do the dinosaurs that surround him. None of them represent that change that is needed.
Butler Turner said Christie's decision to run for party leader yet again is bad news for the country. And as for why she believes Christie refuses to throw in the towel, Butler Turner had one answer.
I think that Mr. Christie is drunk with power.
Christie suggested opposition leader Dr. Hubert Minnis won't be able to withstand what the PLP has to offer. Butler Turner said Christie is delusional.
There's no secret that I think that Mr. Christie has deluded himself into thinking that he has the ability to govern this country effectively. And I will go so far as to say that Mr. Christie is indeed delusional. If there are any other challenges that Mr. Christie has, they're being manifested every day in these ridiculous utterances that he is making.
Amid criticisms from those in opposition, as well as some within the PLP's camp of government's performance so far this term, Fox Hill MP Fred Mitchell says while people have the right to express their views, the government is doing the best it can. Kyle Joaquin reports.
From long called for tax reform to trying to tackle immigration, To the controversies surrounding BAMSI, the Rubis gas leak, and crime, the Progressive Liberal Party has seen its share of victories and losses since winning the 2012 election. With 21 cabinet ministers and 28 seats in parliament, the party has also had its fair share of vocal members, like Marco City MP Greg Moss and Fort Charlotte MP Dr. Andre Rollins, who eventually had their government-appointed posts taken away from them and in time left the party altogether. But Foreign Affairs and Immigration Minister Fred Mitchell says given what the PLP met when coming into office in 2012, the government is actually doing the best it can.
But I think that as a team, the team of the Progressive Liberal Party is doing the best it can in the circumstances which it faces to proceed with the government. There's been a lot of difficult times. The economy has been a difficult challenge, and so they face those challenges.
Then there are those like former PLP MP Philip Galanis, who said there are some miserable and lousy members in Christie's cabinet, and George Smith, who also said some of them need to go. When asked about this, Mitchell said,
I don't really have any comments one way or the other on any of it. You know, my view is people are free to express themselves the wish they would want to in any way they want to. My own view is that we have a government to run. There'll be critics, both internal and external. I defend to the death their right to say whatever they wish to say.
Now, Mitchell didn't go too deep into the leadership of the PLP, but he said come 2017, he's confident the party will present a good enough case to be reelected as the government of the Bahamas.
The people of the country will be asked within 18 months or so to determine whether or not the persons who are put before them to be elected or re-elected to office have done a good job. And I'm confident that we'll do the best to put a good case and that the Bahamian people will support that case at the end of the day.
But as we get closer to the PLP's convention and the political daggers come out, we asked Mitchell once again about a potential leadership race and what could happen if anyone challenges Christie.
I don't want to speculate on any of that. Convention comes up and we'll see what happens.
Reporting for NB12, I'm Kyle Joaquin.
Free National Movement Chairman Michael Pintard says Prime Minister Perry Christie is a sweet talker who continues to talk a good game despite his failure to deliver on the PLP's many campaign promises. Simone Davis reports.
The F&M chairman said there are more important attributes to effective leadership than just the gift of speech. And although the Prime Minister is an eloquent speaker, Pintard said that's not enough to make him a good leader.
We find it quite interesting. Mr. Christie continues to rely on the one gift he seems to display as a leader, and that is the gift of speech. And unfortunately, he's become overly reliant on that gift, but the public has seen and heard Mr. Christie for more than 40 years and clearly understands that his ability to articulate a vision or share a plan of action is not accompanied by concrete actions that have transformed Bahamians' lives.
During his address last week at the 2015 Caribbean Investment Summit in London, Christie urged foreign investors to seriously consider the Caribbean region as he laid out the verbal red carpet for investors, stating that the climate is indeed ripe for inward investment in the Caribbean. Pintard said while he believes that the promotion of the region is a good thing, the Prime Minister is in an exceptionally weak position in attempting to serve as the investment spokesperson for the Caribbean.
We are clear in the Free National Movement that the gift of speech is but one characteristic of leadership. There are a number of equally, if not more important, attributes that a leader should bring to the table. One is the ability to implement a plan of action once it is conceived. Secondly, good leaders exercise good judgment when faced with tough options or tough choices. Mr. Christie has clearly demonstrated that he's not very good at exercising good judgment. Thirdly, followers must believe that they can trust your word.
The F&M chairman said Christie has made far too many promises and gave Bahamians false hope. However, he does not live up to his word. That's why he labeled the Prime Minister as nothing more than a sweet talker.
If Mr. Christie is interested genuinely in a debate, Dr. Minnis is up to the task.
Reporting for NB12 Weekend, I'm Simone Davis.
Minister Perry Christie and Baha Mar developer Sarkis Ismailian had a meeting at the office of the Prime Minister this morning, where Ismailian says he expressed his grave concerns about the liquidation of Baha Mar and emphasized the importance of the China Exim Bank as the most instrumental party in facilitating a resolution. The meeting comes weeks after the Supreme Court approved the appointment of provisional liquidators to oversee Baha Mar's affairs. Ismailian said in a statement, "What I stress to the Prime Minister is that I continue to be ready and willing to negotiate in good faith to resolve the outstanding issues and to act promptly on my part if such a resolution can be achieved. I also emphasize to the Prime Minister my belief that the Export-Import Bank of China is the most instrumental party in helping to facilitate an appropriate resolution. To this end, I have informed the Prime Minister of the specifics he needs with respect to my availability to meet with the bank." Ismailian added, "I expressed to the Prime Minister my grave concerns about the liquidation of Baha Mar. I have made clear again that I cannot continue to be in the position of being the only hand clapping in any negotiations." 4 people survived a plane crash off Chub Key this morning. Minister of Transport and Aviation Glenys Hannah Martin confirmed it was a 6-seater Aztec en route to Chub Key from Nassau. It was around 10:20 when the plane experienced engine failure and the pilot ditched into waters approximately 10 miles off Chub Key. All on board were rescued by local police and residents. According to the minister, 1 person was slightly injured as a result of the incident. Stay with us. There's more news after the break.